Hey everybody, how's it going? Extreme Trends here, and welcome to the top 10 horrible movie rip-offs. Nowadays, it seems like with every great film comes 10 budget versions, and I'm not talking about a borrowed idea here and there or a slightly similar plot. I'm talking about literal carbon copies of the movies that are there to just milk every last penny out of the original's often huge cash flow. However, there's often a fine line between borrowing and stealing when practically remaking a recent movie. Every now and then, the producers of these stolen masterpieces are charged and fined for stepping over the line into copyright waters, and it's almost always rightfully so. Number 10, Up. With a movie that has gained a positively huge response from such a wide audience, it was only a matter of time before the reproducers got their hands on the idea. What's Up Balloon Rescue came to DVD just 3 months after the popular release of Up. Everything from the balloon house to boy and old man character combo was copied and pasted into this awfully animated, terribly acted, and downright racist film about a magic house hot air balloon. The story follows the boy and the scientists as they trap strange looking monsters and people in some sort of force-filled bubble. Overall, the story doesn't really make any sense at all. The terrible writing is almost offensive to the original, as each line is delivered with no expression and might as well have been spoken in Mandarin because the sound was way off. When it's all said and done, a plot point is an extremely valuable asset to a film's uniqueness, and when it's stolen and reused, even if it's only once, then the original producers can be anything but happy. Though What's Up has not got the dynamic characters, crisp visuals, and intriguing plot points, it's safe to say that this film ripoff is a little bit too close to the original. Number 9, Happy Feet. Distinct characters are often the first to be thrown into the reproducing machine, with their recognizable traits and often unique styles already figured out. The hard work has pretty much already been done, and the path has been paved for someone to jump in and make a non-honorary remake. So when 2006 Happy Feet featured a 1 in a million penguin that chose to pursue tap dance instead of a species-wide preference to singing, then it was bound to see an unofficial twin. Though Happy Toes does have a slightly different plot, the main character seems to go on another level above inspired by. I mean, how many films can there be out there about a penguin that loves to tap dance? There are many obvious attempts in this movie ripoff to stray away from the original film Happy Feet, but all in all, the film is a complete ripoff. Number 8, Kung Fu Panda. It's starting to get quite clear as to what these cheap rip-off companies aim for. They eat up all the unique selling points of a film and spit them out into a heaving mess. The difference with this one is that it comes from respectable distributors and notable actors like Lionsgate and Napoleon Dynamite's John Heder. Kung Fu Panda's Po, a chef turned Kung Fu master, is unimaginably wrapped into a legend of Kung Fu Rabbit's Fu. See the resemblance? In this commercial flop of a movie, Kung Fu Rabbit saw a genuinely wide release, yet clearly fell short of its 120 million yen budget, only pulling in sparse audiences in its Chinese debut. Though the film's production demands credit, with its 500 animators working for 3 years on the project. However, the final product feels more like a cheap ripoff on a great movie than a multi-million-dollar blockbuster that the producers were going for. Kung Fu Rabbit might possibly be one of the better copycat films, but that's certainly not an achievement. All it took was for the makers a reputable Beijing film school to better invest the money into an original idea instead of throwing money into something that'll be tossed around and chopped up as a laughingstock. Number 7, Finding Dory. Finding Dory is a story of a fish snatched from her parents at a young age and her adventurous journey home. You might ask, how could this be a remake without coming too close to the original source? Well, the answer is, it can't be. 2016's Izzy's Way Home is exactly what you'd expect it to be, Finding Dory with a different name and worse animations. It's quite clear that the thieving filmmakers often try to undercut the popular release and beat it to the cinemas. Easy's Way Home came out on DVD on May the 17th, 2016, just 20 days before Disney's Finding Nemo sequel hit cinemas. This was all an obvious ploy to go above and beyond, not only to steal the idea, but also to snatch away as many sales as they possibly can. Easy's Way Home undoubtedly underperformed, while the original Finding Dory became the 4th highest grossing animated movie of all time, with over $1 billion in worldwide box office sales. At this point, I think the only reason Disney didn't sue the makers of Easy's Way Home is because they already blew the fish out of the water when they became one of the very few billionaire films. Number 6, B-Movie. The original movie never really shook the boat or nearly reached the multi-award winning star-studded reputation that most of the other films on this list have achieved, as the B-Movie was the second lowest earning film in Pixar movie history and being on the receiving end of many slating reviews, even becoming a somewhat appreciated internet craze. But even with all of this negativity, it still has its own copycat film that is choked full of terrible visuals and strange plot points. 2007's Plan B is regarded as one of the worst straight-to-DVD films of all time, with its jarring animations and undescribable writing. The film falls short of a film that has already fell short, with B-Movie ranking in an unsatisfactory $200 million at the box office. It was quite obvious that its very own low-budget version wouldn't do so well. It just proves to show that no film is safe from the jaws of reproduction. Number 5, Pirates of the Caribbean. The reason why animated movies seem more prone to being ripped off is largely due to their extremely low cost compared to live action movies. So when production company The Asylum threw together a live action copy of everyone's favorite pirate film, they took one extra leap into the world of copyright infringement. 2006 Pirates of Treasure Island has everything that the Disney original has: the ships, the eye patches, the deceiving personalities. But there's one thing that this movie ripoff didn't have. Of course, this movie ripoff didn't have the huge budget behind it to pull it all off. Oh, and the giant insects kind of stand out like a sore thumb. Pirates of the Caribbean and its charming characters such as Jack Sparrow spawned 4 sequels to the movie, including the recent installment Dead Men Tell No Tales. Dead Men Tell No Tales was released in 2017 to become one of the highest grossing film franchises ever, with billions of merchandising and licensing on the side. All the while, Pirates of Treasure Island spawned only angry audiences and laughing tracks. A film meant to copy a beautifully crafted film went on home on a stretcher with its giant insects and bad acting. Number 4, Toy Story. Just like the fine line between copying and inspiring, the line between unintentionally bad movies and unintentionally bad movies is almost invisible. Aired during Cartoon Network's 2011 Mad segment, The Buzz Identity is perhaps the most redeeming and source-thoughtful film on this list. Though it's a carbon copy of Buzz Lightyear's identity crisis in the 3rd installment of the Toy Story franchise, it is almost forgivable due to its tight sense of humor and mocking of the original movie. Cartoon Network aired the film in its Mad segment as a purposeful duplicate of the intensely popular Toy Story 3 in an attempt to cross over the successful animation with the Bourne franchise. Audiences could love the film without feeling bad for anyone, and its appraisal still lives on today, with clips of the show gathering millions of views online. If there's ever been a good ripoff of a film, it was with Cartoon Network's Buzz Identity. Number 3, Ratatouille. When there are 2 films released in the same year, both about a rat working in a 5-star restaurant, then there's obviously something fishy going on here. Brought to you by the creators of the ripoff What's Up Balloon Rescue, Ratatouille is probably the most obvious form of a copy and paste movie we have ever seen. The makers of the ripoff didn't even think of changing the name much at all. They pretty much went for the tactic of naming the film as the same name of the main character. The company behind both of these horrific movie ripoffs was a small animation team based in Sao Paulo, Brazil, called Video Brinquido. The reason I say was is because their repetitive bad stream of films led to the end of the company becoming bankrupt. But will that mean the end of ripoff movies? We hope so. Number 2, Planes. First of all, Pixar's own Planes felt like a ripoff of their own more successful precedent, Cars. The Russian straight-to-DVD film Wings, however, blew all the questions out of the air. When the producers took Planes' plot of a racing airplane and turned the original propeller plane into a jet, they thought they were in the clear and no one would criticize the theft. Well, they were wrong. The internet burst into rage against obvious copyright breaching and slammed Wings in numerous viral articles. And as everyone knows, the internet is always right. Number 1, Brave. Clearly, there is nowhere for Disney to hide away from these copycats. It seems as though every one of these movies is getting churned into numerous duplicates. 2012's Brave is still garnered as one of their most solid and ambitious films with a unique flair. Even for the imaginators at Pixar, this film oozes with creativity. The film features the fairy tale-like story of redhead Princess Merida's adventure through womanship and decision-making. All of these great factors make it the perfect target for small film companies to take advantage of its success. In late 2011, Indian production company Shimaru Entertainment cashed in on the red-headed hero with their own take on the adventure story. In doing so, they chose to make their protagonist a fierce red-headed princess and expected that to be completely fine with Disney. The film was initially released on an internet platform and instantly recognized as a brave stroke in dangerous waters. Unexpectedly, the film actually won Best Animated Feature in the New Delhi Film Festival, which begs to question, did the judges not care about the blatant theft, or did they just not see Brave? I guess no one really knows. So that has been the top 10 horrible movie ripoffs. If you did enjoy the video or found it interesting, then why not go check out one of our other videos by clicking a video on the screen now. Before you do that though, as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you do not miss a single upload. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you in the next video. Hey everybody, how's it going? Extreme Trends here, and welcome to the top 10 horrible movie ripoffs. Nowadays, it seems like with every great film comes 10 budget versions, and I'm not talking about a borrowed idea here and there or a slight. Everything from the balloon house to boy and old man character combo was copied and pasted into this awfully animated, terribly acted, and downright racist film about a magic house hot air balloon. The story follows the boy, and the stat has gained a positively huge response from such a wide audience. It was only a matter of time before the reproducers got their hands on the idea. What's Up Balloon Rescue came to DVD just 3 months after the popular release of a recent movie. Every now and then, the producers of these stolen masterpieces are charged and fined for stepping over the line into copyright waters, and it's almost always rightfully so. Number 10, Up. With a movie with a similar plot, I'm talking about literal carbon copies of the movies that are there to just milk every last penny out of the original's often huge cash flow. However, there's often a fine line between borrowing and stealing when practically remaking a